semuanya Bapak Ibu, terima kasih.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. To the Honorable, the Rector of Universitas Trisakti, Mr. Professor Dr. Insinyur Kadarsah Suryadi, DEA. To the Honorable, Senior Director, Southeast and Australasia Operation of Institute of Management Accountants, Mr. Dr. Josh Hanero and all associates. To the Honorable Vice Rector 1 and 4, Universitas Trisakti, Mrs. Professor Insinyur Asri Nugrahanti, MS, PhD, IPU. To the Honorable Vice Rector 2, Universitas Trisakti, Mrs. Dr. Homsiah, AK, CAF, CGMA, CGMA, CRIB. To the Honorable Vice Rector 3, Universitas Trisakti, Mr. Heru P. Sanusi, SH, MH. To the Honorable Dean of Faculty Economic and Business, Universitas Trisakti, Mrs. Dr. Yolanda Masnita Siagian, MM, and all Honorable Dean of Faculties in Universitas Trisakti, and to all honorable guests that couldn't be mentioned one by one, we would like to say welcome to all crews who attend offline are already vaccinated, and we're still implementing the health protocol of COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, let us sing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Please
Recording
all
in
rise.
progress.
Thank you, and please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our signing ceremony event, let us pray for the blessing of the God Almighty. Please remain silent and pray started. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Praying finished. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we are heading to our core agenda. This is the MOU signing ceremony between Universitas Trisakti and Institute of Management Accountant. Therefore, we would like to invite Professor Kadarsa Suryadi and also Dr. Josh Henero to conduct the signing of MOU letter. Of MOU letter and please to document it. All right. Probably Dr. Joss, would you please to, yes, yeah, that's a correct position. All right. All right, one more time for the group. All right, well done. Thank you so much for Professor Kadrasah and also Dr. Josh. And here's the MOU letter that will be shown by our PR team. Okay, that's the MOU letter, ladies and gentlemen. All right, once again, thank you so much for Professor Kadarsa and also Dr. Josh Henero. And the MOU is already signed, and we would like to continue to our next agenda. For the following agenda is the welcome speech from Rector of Universitas Trisakti. We'd like to invite Mr. Professor Dr. Insinyur Kadarsa Suryadi, DEA. To Professor Kadarsa, time is yours.
Thank you, Bu Bayan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Afternoon, everybody. It is great honor to be here with all of you, especially Josh Henero and delegate. I'd like to express our welcome to Universitas Trisakti in the virtual meeting to Dr. Josh Henero, Senior Director of Institute of Accountant, and all delegates. Today, it is a great day for us because, as we all know, that we have the MOU between Institute of Management Accountant and Universitas Trisakti. It is very in line with our direction. Universitas Tisakti has the objective to produce three main alumni. First alumni is so-called entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the people who create a new job. And the second is the scientists, develop the science. And the third kind of alumni is professional. It is the people who can work very productive in each of field. And today, we all witness the MOU signing between IMA and Universitas Trisakti. And I would like to inform to Dr. Josh Henero that there are many international policies conducted by Universitas Trisakti, such as Universitas Tisakti participate in international accreditation study program, and also we participate in what you call joint degree program between our partners, and also we conduct the visiting program, the student exchange, staff exchange, joint research, joint publication, joint seminar. And also we participate in international certification in each field that we have in Universitas Tisakti. And today we have signed an MOU with Institute of Accountant. Our students to be recognized internationally, especially collaboration with professional programs that enhance the education and professional recognition. This includes Certified Management Accountant program. I know that IMA, CMA, or Certified Management Accountant, it is a very advanced level assessment for accounting and financial professional in the business. So I think that it is very important for us to provide our students to have the international standing, especially in their profession as accountant. So on behalf of Universitas Trisakti and community, I would like to thank to IMA, to Dr. Jos Heniro for choosing Universitas Tisakti as a part to collaborate in this program. So I think that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, thank you so much for Professor Kadarsa Suryadi as Rector of Universitas Trisakti for giving the welcoming speech. Ladies and gentlemen, for the following agenda, this is a speech from our partner from Institute of Management Accountant, and now we'd like to invite the Senior Director of IMA, Dr. Josh Heniro, for giving the speech. So for Dr. Josh, please welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes, very clearly.
Thank you. Dear Professor Dr. Insinyur Kadarsa Suryadi, DEA, the Rector of Universitas Trisakti, Insinyur Agus Guntoro, Collaboration and Culture Director and the Vice Rector, Dr. Yolanda Masnita, Dean of Economic and Business Faculty, and all the distinguished and honorable associates of Universitas Trisakti, staff and students of Universitas Trisakti. Selamat sore. I'm Josh Heniro. I'm the Senior Director of IMA Southeast Asia and Australasia Operations. It's my great pleasure today and my great honor to be here to meet you all online virtually and to sign this MOU with one of the prestige university that has a long establishment legacy in Indonesia, Universitas Trisakti. This MOU represents not just the beginning of a new relationship, but also it's a strategic partnership between IMA and Universitas Trisakti to demonstrate our resilience that even during this unprecedented time of the pandemic, we will not stop our mission by providing what is the best for our students, our faculty and university partners. Please allow me a brief introduction of IMA that since 1919, IMA has focused exclusively on advancing and supporting the management accounting profession through research, through our certification program, the CMA Certified Management Accountants, Certified in Strategy and Comparative Analysis, CSCA, continuing education program, and being an advocate of the highest ethical business practices for these professions. With more than 100 years of history of management accounting innovations focused on delivering value on a global scale, IMA has now hundreds of partnerships around the world. To name a few: IFAC, International Federation of Accountants. IMA is a full member of IFAC and also a member of AFA, ASEAN Federation of Accountants, that unanimously approved by all 10 ASEAN National Accounting Associations, including IAI, Ikatan Akuntan Indonesia. IMA is also a co-founder and a co-sponsor of COSO, a committee of sponsoring organization of Trackway Commissions, a joint initiative of 5 accounting associations, that is IMA, the American Accounting Association, the AAA, the American Institute of CPA, AICPA, Financial Executive International, the FEI, and the Institute of Internal Auditors, IIA. So COSO is dedicated of providing thought leadership through the development of framework and guidance on ERM, enterprise risk management, internal control, and fraud deterrence. IMA is also a full voting member of IIRC, the International Integrated Reporting Council, a global coalition of regulators, investors, companies, standard setters, and the accounting profession and the non-governmental organizations. So this coalition is promoting communication about value creation as the next step in the evolution of corporate reporting. I may work with other organizations that share similar values to serve the professions. So some of the collaboration that we have currently, for example, we have the DENI project, this the diversity, equity, and inclusions, which is a joint project with IFACT and AFA. And IAR is one of the partners that take part in this project as well. And IMA Asia Pac Conference 2021 that is going to be held on this coming November 13 is fully supported by AFA, and we have already over 1,600 registrations. And we're also one of the sponsors of AFA conference in this upcoming November 25th. We also are partners with FASB, Financial Accounting Standards Board, the PhD projects, the United States of Securities and Exchange Commissions. So, being the leading global organization, recognize the value of CMAs. CMAs, the Certified Management Accountant, can be found working in many global organizations, and in fact, nearly half of all the Fortune 500 companies have IMAs on staff. Currently, IMA has around 140,000 members globally. And IMA has a total 367 active professional chapters, student chapters, and elite clubs, which we hope through this MOU, Universitas Trisakti, the academics faculty, students will take the opportunity to network with IMA chapters and global partners through our IMA projects such as the business case competitions, research, and conferences, amongst others. So Nelson will be in touch to work with Universitas Trisakti on support and resources that can be leveraged by Universitas Trisakti faculty and students, such as like the database of the case studies, the different scholarship for faculty, for students, including PhD, S3 scholarships, and many regional and global competitions, students leadership programs, joint research, research grants, joint events, thought leadership white papers, and many other online short courses that can be capitalized on. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate 9 students of Universitas Trisakti who have been nominated to receive the IMA CMA scholarship. Through this initiative, IMA has already given up to date almost 17,500 CMA scholarship to high achieving accounting and finance students to enable them to be competitive to kickstart their careers. IMA is a non-profit organization, and we are committed to support the accounting and finance community in Indonesia, especially our strategic partners like Universitas Trisakti. Finally, I would like to end off by wishing University of Trisakti a happy 56th anniversary on coming 29th November. And I believe that under the leadership of Professor Kadasa, Universitas Trisakti will continue to reach many more new milestones in the years to come. And I hope that the pandemic will get controlled soon, and when the travel restrictions are lifted, I look forward to visiting you all at your beautiful campus in person. And once again, thank you so much for your supporting of this partnership. And I look forward very much to working with you. Until then, stay safe and stay well. Terima kasih.
Thank you. Terima kasih for Dr. Josh Henero as the Senior Director of IMA. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're heading into our mandatory agenda. This is a photo group. So would you please to open up your camera? And our team, Mr. Lutfi, will lead the capture and will count for this photo group session. So please for Mr. Lutfi.
Okay, mohon izin. Please turn on the camera for participant. We will capture the photo. First slide. 3, 2, 1. Okay, next slide. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Last slide. 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more time. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lutfi, and thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the end of our core agenda for the signing ceremony of the MOU. And firstly, we'd like to say once again to Professor Kadarsa, Dr. Joss, and all vice rectors, all deans. And for the following session, we still have the question and answer session by Magister of Accounting, Universitas Trisakti, and this session will be moderated by Miss Arinda. So for Miss Arinda, please welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have question and answer session. This session will be led by Mr. Nelson from IMA. Mr. Nelson, time is yours.
Selamat sore. Hi everyone, my name is Nelson. I'm the Director of the Regional Partners Relations. And thank you so much for this opportunity for me to speak to you on behalf of IMA to introduce to you all what we are offering in terms of the scholarship to your students. So I understand that I have done a session with your students, with the key members of the faculty about our scholarships. So I would like to also extend this time to the students for them to ask me any questions. So about a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Serka has submitted a nomination of 9 students for us to consider for our scholarships. And we have already informed these 9 students that they have successfully received our scholarships and the procedure in registering themselves first as an IMA member and also to access to the resources that are available for them to prepare them for the CMA exam. So I would like to use this session to have a chat with this, to present our scholarship to them. And I'm not too sure if how this Q&A is going to run. And I leave it to the moderator on whether if I can speak to the students or the students have any questions for me, or will there be for me to do a presentation to these students and so on. Okay. Yes, I think we have a question here raising their hand.
Nelson, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I think my student is very shy.
Sure.
Domingos, I know there's some of them in here, but just wait a minute.
No problem.
Domingos, please raise your hand and please give Nelson your question. I think Domingos had a lot of questions. Okay.
No, Mr. Sekar. Okay. Hi everyone, everybody. Before I tell my question, I apologize if my voice sounds noisy because I'm in the office. So, Mr. Nelson, my question: are there any special rules regarding exams that exceed 3 years of membership? And maybe the second question regarding the part 1 and part 2 exam preparation quizzes. Apart from using the CMA test bank, can we use the IMS Sergeant review with no cost? Maybe that's it for me, just two questions.
Okay. So can I repeat your first question? Your question is there a special rules about taking the exam? And second question is about our part 1 and part 2.
Mr. Nathan, maybe correction. My first question about special rules regarding exam that exceed 3 years of membership.
Okay. Okay. Right. All right. Let me answer the first question first. Right. For CMA, our exam literally is belong to part 1 and part 2. So students technically have 3 years to complete part 1 and part 2. And that is why we're extending the membership to you all for 3 years. Because like any good organization, we constantly review our curriculum. We review our content of our examinations. So technically, you have 3 years to complete. And from our experience, now a lot of our students are able to complete this part 1 and then part 2, all within 3 years. On the average, students will need about 18 months max to complete both parts. And there are students who take only 6 months to a year. So I'm not too sure if I can share my screen. Organizer, is it possible I can share my screen? I think I can. No. Okay, I can't. But that's all right. So technically, we seldom see students who exit more than 3 years. However, if you are unable to finish your part 1 and part 2 within 3 years, what you have to do is you have to redo your part 1 and part 2 again. For example, if I pass my part 1 now, and for some reason, because of work, you're too busy to do your part 2, and by 2024, this time, you are still not able to pass your part 2, you will have to re-enroll yourself and start doing your part 1 again. Okay, there's no penalties, or there's no thing saying that after 3 tries and you're out. But however, based on our experience, our students, most of our candidates are able to complete the 2 part within 3 years. All right, so that is your question number 1. Okay, do you mind if I can emphasize your question number? You can repeat and your question number 2 again about part 1 and part 2.
Okay, Mr. Nelson. My second question is regarding the part 1 and part 2 preparation quizzes. Apart from using the CMA test bank, can we use the IMS Sergeant review with no cost? IMS Sergeant review, not the test bank.
I don't quite get what is IMS review.
Domingos.
Yeah, Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
IMA Sergeant review, you can see it in the website of IMA, where we can do a lot of work like quiz, and in one of them, in the exam part, you can see Sergeant IMA surgeon review. Yeah, basically, it's the same.
I think I got the question. I think I can.
Thanks, Josh.
Yes, no worries, because maybe your reception there is not too clear. From my end, it's quite. The reception is good for me, so maybe I can take up this one. Because the connections. You meant, correct me if I'm wrong. So you meant that after the 3 years of part one or part two, are you still entitled to access to one of the materials, which is the surgeon materials, for free? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. The answer is actually is no, because the scholarship provided to you is provided you within that 3 years with free material to choose from, either Wiley or Gleim. Surgeon is not on the table, so there are only two materials that provided access to scholarship winners, and the scholarship recipient can choose only one materials. So the scholarship recipient can choose either Wiley materials or Gleim materials, and that will give you only up to 3 years of usage. And after the 3 years, if you're not completing the whole CMA2 exams, unfortunately, you're not entitled access to that anymore. And basically, for the surgeon materials that you're talking about, it is not offered to scholarship recipients, only Wiley and Gleim materials.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Josh. Sorry, everyone. Because we are in Singapore, all of us are still working from home. So sometimes we still get interruption to the internet connection. So is there any other questions that the students or even the academics have for us?
Okay, Nelson.
Yes.
May I one question? Okay. As Josh said, that we have, you call it strategic partnership. So if we held international conference, how EMA can support us?
That's a very, very good question. I think IMA, IMA, as you like to call us, we support our partners in all sorts of ways, including providing our expert opinion or participate as a panel. We do also give, most recently, we participated in an international conference held in Bandung about the ESG reporting. So IMA, what we do is we require you to let us know ahead of time what are the resources you need from us. And then we can see what we then can approach our experts. And even sometime, my senior director, Dr. Josh, will be able to provide our opinion about what you require from us. So we do support our partners in various ways. So all we need to hear from you is what do you need from us? And we are very open about all sorts of possibility that we can work with you all with.
And also, like, if the pandemic gets better, the COVID is getting under control, and Indonesia has lifted the travel restrictions, we are more than happy even to be there in present to support in Jakarta, because I miss a lot of the soto and gado-gado in Jakarta.
Yes, me too.
So maybe if I may add more, I think Nelson will work with the campus advocate from Universitas Trisakti, and we have many resources that actually can be used by university faculty. For example, we have a database of case studies, and we are currently also sponsoring and supporting ERE in the international competition of case studies. So we can actually let Universitas to access to this database for free. It is chargeable for corporates and others. So this can be really adopted by Universitas Trisakti in your curriculum of teaching. And being a strategic partners, we also allowed faculty of Universitas Trisakti to access to our teaching notes. This teaching notes is not making publicly and is not accessible by publicly. But being a strategic partners, we can also share these resources with your faculty so that you can adopt it easily into your teaching curriculum if you wish to at no charge at all. And on yearly basis, we can also join program, and we have many international programs, for example, like the Young Leadership Program, Student Leadership Program. We welcome Trisakti students to join this competition. Like, for example, like the Young Leadership Programs, 2 years ago, SMU student in Singapore Management University student, one of them is won the competition, and IMA will pay off everything, accommodation, the flight ticket, everything to fly the student to the US in our annual conference and to attending our board meeting to get training, networking, and even a mentor from our global board of directors for about 3 to 5 days. Everything is fully paid. So this will provide the student a good experience to associate and get training in the US as well. So there are many other such programs that we can extend to faculty and students of Universitas Trisakti.
On top of that, I will be in touch because we have just completed the signing of MOU to nominate a campus advocate from University of Trisakti. So meaning that the campus advocate who is an academic will be given a IMA membership as part of the MOU arrangement. So you will have full access to our database, like what Dr. Josh said, and also all the other short courses or continuing professional courses we have available online. Some of the courses, we have almost at the moment about 500 different courses. Some of them are free, some of them only have to pay bare minimum courses for members.
Thank you for all the information.
Dr. Jones Eniro, excuse me, but I have a little question, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, Dr. Jones Eniro, I would like to ask a question. I think that there is no context with the Atlanta, but nowadays, Tisakti start to participate in international QS ranking. And for this program, we need some respondent to give the feedback for us. And would you like to become one of our respondents in the context of QS ranking?
Thank you for that such kind offer. I'm not sure if I a good and right candidate to be that nominations, but more than happy to support. Maybe either professor that you can email me about more details what is required of us in terms of supporting for this QS requirement. And we see that even myself or our team in the US can be support to this Universitas Trisakti initiative. If we could, we have the expertise, we're more than happy to support. And having said that, we also have a program called HEEP. We call it as the Higher Education Endorsement Programs. So this actually is a recognition process like the QS ranking, but this is more like a endorsement from IMA to university that the accounting program is aligned and mapped against the CMA programs. And then the university will be given a plaque and a certificate and recognition on IMA website as being the endorsed university of the accounting programs. So far, I haven't had Indonesian university endorsed, but we in Singapore, for example, we already have the NUS, National University Singapore, SMU, Singapore Management University, NTU, national technological of university. They already endorsed the accounting programs, and we have Peking University, Shanghai Jiao Tong University in the China, and other top university around the world. So this is also something that we can work with Universitas Trisakti to have the Universitas Trisakti accounting program endorsed as well. So coming back to your question, the QS ranking, more than happy to support is if professor can email us the details, what is the requirement or expertise that is needed. We'll see that what we can do based on our team either in Southeast Asia or in the US, and how we can support University of Trisakti initiative.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Professor. Thank you, Professor, for your questions. We have a couple of questions from the students. Siti, you asked about if we get a scholarship but fail in the first attempt of CMA exam part 1, for the retest of the part 1, is the scholarship still applicable? As I mentioned earlier, our scholarship covers the first attempt of part 1 of your examination. Or each part of your examination. So if after your first attempt, unfortunately you miss the mark, you can redo your exam again. However, you have to pay for the fee for the examination again. So you do not need to pay for your membership because your membership lasts 3 years, but you just have to pay for your sitting of that exam again. So unfortunately, the scholarship only covers the first attempt for your exam. And Domingos, you have asked me a question about how the exam is being conducted. So the exam lasts over 4 hours per part. So at every part of your exam, you have to do 100 questions in multiple choice. So this is done in the test center that is located in Jakarta. Okay, and after the 100 multiple choice questions, if you pass that 100 multiple choice, you will then go on to two 30 minutes essay questions. Okay, and these two 30 minutes essay questions, the result will only be out a few weeks later. Okay, so you got to finish your part 1 or part 2, and there's no sequence. Doesn't mean that you have to do your part 1 and then part 2. You can do your part 2 if you are more confident about the financial aspect. You can do your part 2 first, and then you can come and attempt your part 1. There's some candidates who are really good. They attempt both parts together in the same space of a few weeks. So it's really up to how much you are prepared to attempt both parts of the questions. And all our exams are done online and on site in the test center run by an organization called ProMetrics. So there will be instruction online on how to go about in registering for your exam. And also there's also even mock tests that you can try and attempt. Okay, I have another questions coming up saying how as a student we join, what are the benefits for us? Right, that's also a very good question. A lot of my candidates, they also always wonder what are the benefits of signing up as a member. And we do get a lot of students who even without receiving a scholarship, they do sign as a members of IMA. For a start, as a member of as a student, you do enjoy a discounted rate to join as an IMA member. The normal price to join as an IMA member as a full professional is about $215 US dollars. But because you are a student, you only pay USD $39. If you are a member, if you are a scholarship holder, receive a scholarship from us, you will get 3 years of this membership free fee waiver. Okay, being a member means that you can also access to all the resources we have online that is available to anyone. That is number one. Number two, you can even do a short courses online. For example, even myself, I'm doing a 101 blockchain, introduction to blockchains, or 101 introduction to Scrum and agility. So these are the courses that are available at zero courses or zero fee to you. So you can do all these courses, and you will receive a digital certification from us. Okay. So is there a test to get one own degree from this association? As I mentioned before, the students will have to do part 1 and part 2. Okay. Unfortunately, we do not have a representative office in Jakarta, but we are very close to you. We only a 2 hours flight away. So we are based in Singapore, and once the pandemic is over, I'm sure we will be visiting you very often. Okay. Other questions that is coming up in the CMA scholarship program, how many opportunity to take the exam in 3 years? Okay. I think I have answered this question in the beginning of my speech. We do not limit the number of attempts the students have on each part of the questions. However, based on our experience, most of our students should be able to finish within 18 months. So there's a 3 years period gaps here where the number of attempts or the space between part 1 and part 2 should not be more than 3 years. So I repeat that again. So for example, if you finish your part 1 this year, and due to your work commitment, you cannot take your part 2 until later part, and then you fail, and unfortunately by then you have reached 2024, you can redo the CMA exam again. However, the part 1 exam will be invalid. You have to do both part 1 and part 2 again. Okay. And then what is your competitive advantage between institutions like USCMA versus Cima? Okay, there is a very, very common questions. To be very honest with you, my background is not accountants. I'm not an accountant by training. And when I first get into join IMA, I'm confused with all these certifications that we have on offer. There's different organizations offering different certifications. But I must say, IMA, what we are focusing here is management accountants. In the current world, we are not asking you to be a auditor or tax auditor, but how do our candidates use the data, use the figures, or use the stats that is available to you to help business to make key decisions? So a lot of our CMAs went on to become financial controller, chief financial officer in companies, even CEOs, where they are there to help to put the company in the strategic position to be sustainable. So our role here as an organization is to provide you with the mechanism, with the expertise to help you to become to climb out the ladder, to become a skilled, a qualified a management manager in a company that help them to make critical decisions. So we are very different from any other, many other certification bodies. Every certification bodies have their own mandate. Our vision here is to help you, to help company to make the correct decision. Okay, so we are not going to test you on your accounting knowledge, on your taxation knowledge, or auditing knowledge, but to use all this knowledge to help to make decision. Okay, so we got also another question from City again. Sorry.
If I may add on, please.
Sure.
To answer the Luffy Ferisky question, the competitive advantage. Actually, if you're talking about like Cima, I think Cima and the IMA CMA is the closest similar programs globally now in the world. As we know that Cima have recently been merged with AICPA. So the key difference, they are all international programs, they are all good programs. And apart from what Nelson just shared with you, I just want to share one more point is, the key difference between the two is that the CMA programs is a US-based qualification and the Cima is UK-based qualification. And the key difference between the US and UK qualification is the number of modules. If you look at the US qualification, it always have less than 5 modules. You look at like the US CPA, the IAA internal audit, the CFA, the CMA, and all these are 5 modules and below because they consider this certification as a postgraduate level. So you need to have a basic degree in order to do this one. So any high school dropout, they cannot do the US certifications. But in the UK, for example, like ICAEW, ACCA, and Cima, they have about more than 10 papers, from 10 to 15, 17 papers. And even a high school dropout can study all UK certification. They just start from module 1. So the key competitive here, I would say, is really the number of exams and the time taken to complete the certification, given the US CMA has only 2 exams, compared to Cima, which has 14 papers. But of course, if you're a university graduate, you might be granted some exemption from the modules. So this will be the key difference. So ultimately, I think the question we back to you is that, what is your plan after your studies? If you're aiming like you don't want to be an auditor, you don't want to just prepare the financial statements that is soon to be taken over by this AI industry 4.0, but you want to be more a person to tell story behind the numbers, to give the insights information for management to make an informed decision making, then management accounting will be for you. And the next question you need to ask yourself is that, which area or which country do you see you most that will work in? Like, you aim to go and work more in the UK area or in the US area, or you work for the 500 Fortune company, more for the US company or UK company? I think this all will determine that which one is more suitable and relevant for your personal career aspirations. So these are some factors you need to consider about yourself. What is your plan for your career movement? More than happy to take it offline to discuss with you if you still have more questions.
Definitely. And I'm so sure, thank you, Josh. I'm so sure this is not the only time I'm going to see you all, or this is not the only opportunity. We are all eager to see your face to face, and we are always available online or by email that we will answer any of the question. If we felt that any question is not being answered now, do have a chat with Dr. Sekar, and we can arrange another session where I can talk to you more in details. All right. Let me see. Is there any other question that I have not answered here? And thanks to my colleague Ryan, also, who has answered some of the questions that you have, and also provided you all with some links to our website where you can have access to the materials and the informations. All right. To use. Okay.
I think all questions already answered.
Great.
Thank you, Nelson and Josh, and also Ryan.
Yeah. So thank you for this. I'm so glad to see a group of students who are excited about this, taking this opportunity for our scholarships. And thank you especially to Dr. Sekar for your kind nomination for your students. We have a first meeting, and I'm so excited that you found us and decide to submit the nomination on behalf of your students. And I believe that this is just the beginning, and many more years to come, and we're going to see a good pool of CMA graduates from University of Trisakti. Definitely.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally we reach the end of session. Thank you, Professor Kadarsa. Thank you, Dr. Josh. Thank you, all Vice Rector. Thank you, all Deans. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, and all participants for your attending this session. See you for the next event. Stay healthy and stay safe. Now, you may leave the Zoom meeting room. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank
Good
you.
afternoon
Thank you
and
so
thank
much,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Terima kasih Pak Rektor. Terima kasih.